Welcome everybody to Collab.Land Town Hall 44. Today we're going to do a technical deep dive, and to give a little introduction before we get to the conversation. And we're joined today on the Collab.Land side by Angeli, who is in the audience today, and James Young. Both of them are co-founders of Abridge.io, the creator of Collab.Land. And the mission of Collab.Land is to create and enable community tools that encourage pro-social activity as well as enabling collaboration and positive community interactions. Angeli and James have been strong champions of this mission, and it is great to have them here. So welcome, James, to the stage. So happy to have you here today.
Awesome. Thanks, Chibi. Glad to be here. Am I coming through okay?
Yes, you are. Just to let everybody know, we usually have tech issues. So today we were very responsible and we did some mic checks before jumping in the call. So yeah, it is coming through just fine. And yeah, again, happy to have you here. And additionally, Gita is also joining the panel today. He is a very skilled developer on the Collab.Land team, and he's mainly focused on Web3 usability and cybersecurity. And it's so exciting to have him here. Welcome, Gita.
GM, thank you, Chibi, for the beautiful introduction. Looking forward to the town hall.
Yay, anytime. It's so exciting to have you guys in here. I think it's been a long time since you guys didn't present something for our server. So looking forward to that. Oh, I see the antwoord now. You missed the song. We'll play it again next time. I'll consider the 5-minute duration for it. But yeah, just one more note to make before we start the conversation. We've got a POAP for today, which will be distributed by the end of the call, and we'll use the POAP mini app to distribute it. Very easy process. I'll get to that later and let you know how that works. But now let's get started with the conversation. We have 3 main topics for today. And the first one is our Metamask Delegation Toolkit grant and demo, and some tipping updates. In case that you missed it during the last town hall, we are transitioning to integrating the Metamask Delegation Toolkit for our tipping. And we're very, very excited and honored to be teaming up with the Metamask team on this very exciting project that will redefine how communities connect and interact. I wanted to show you, I'll share a link in the chat in case that you would like to read some more about this integration, what it's going to be about. But if you wouldn't like to read all of that, we have Kita in here today to tell us about that. But let me post this in the stage chat. All of the links that we will share during the call will go to the stage chat, so you can take a look over there. You can join that chat if you'd like to see the links as we go in the conversation. So I've posted the Medium article in case that you'd like to take a look at that. But I think we're good to get to the demo, and again, we've invited Kita to show us a demo on what he's been working on with the MetaMask Delegation Toolkit, and to tell us about the technical details and aspects of it. So, Kita, when you're ready, please, you can share screen. We can make sure that it's coming through again. And I'll pass it on to you to tell us about that.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Chibi. I'll maybe share screen just to be double sure everything's coming through. Can you see my Discord and the stage?
Yes, that is coming through.
Okay, great. Okay, so GM folks, as Chibi mentioned, it's been ages since we did a presentation, but yeah, we've been super busy working with MetaMask and redefining how traditional blockchain transactions work. So what the concept which we are introducing is called raindrops, or what we technically call pull based transactions on the blockchain. And I'll explain it to you using some diagrams. I have a lot of diagrams today, and unfortunately, no slide decks, because I wanted to show the visual aspect of it in order to understand what's going on. So, in a traditional airdrop scenario, right, where Alice is a big tipper and she wants to reward everyone on her server, which is Bob, Carol, and Dave. And Alice wants to send, let's say, 1,000 collab each. Now, what Alice can do is Alice can airdrop to Bob, Carol, and Dave. And the way she will do it is either there's two ways of doing it. Either she takes in all the wallet address, creates an allow list, and then she airdrops one by one, or she batches transaction. But for Alice, this airdrop becomes pretty costly, because now Alice has to pay for gas for all of these individual transactions or the batch transaction, which is kind of gas efficient. But eventually, if you're doing, let's say, 1,000 or 10,000 people, or even a million people for that matter, it becomes very costly for Alice. So that's why Alice has to be very cognizant of who she's giving access to, who is claiming the airdrop, and how much budget she can spend. But that changes now, because using the Metamask delegation toolkit, Alice can create a delegation which is like a credible commitment, which basically tells, hey, I want you to have 100 of my collab, and you can withdraw it at your own expense. So, what Alice can do, instead of creating this batch transaction or creating this airdrop and paying for all the gas, Alice can create a pull based transaction, which basically means Alice, let's say, allocates 1,000 collab, and she wants to distribute this 1,000 collab among 10 people. So basically, each person gets 100 collab. Rather than paying for all those 10 transactions or paying for the batch transaction, she delegates that 1,000 collab, and then Bob, Carol, Dave, they claim that. So in a traditional push based transaction, which is there currently on the Ethereum blockchain, every minute transaction happens in this flow, where Alice is pushing funds, or Alice is pushing some state, which allows Bob to, have some balance. But in a pull based transaction, Bob actually claims these delegations on chain and then pulls the fund from Alice. So it's kind of like, imagine if you want to, I won't say custody, because it's non custodial, but if you want to uh, give a promise, or tell promise to someone that, hey, I have this 1,000 collab to distribute. If you want, you can take 100 collab from me, but if you need to pay that middleman 10 collab, please do so. And what happens is, instead of Alice paying for each of the transactions, Bob, Carol, and Dave, they pay for their individual transactions. So Bob pays gas for his own transaction while he's claiming it on chain. Carol pays it on chain, and thus Alice, the entry barrier for Alice to actually, do large amounts of airdrops. I'm not talking about 10. I'm not talking about 10 people. I'm not talking about 100 people. I'm talking about tens of thousands of people, or maybe a million people, which Alice would have been hesitant in the beginning, right? In a traditional push based model. But now Alice can confidently do that using the MetaMask delegation toolkit. And that is what we will introduce, and we are planning to introduce in tip raindrops. Now, before I go to the demo, I'll just talk a bit about a brief about how the tech behind it works, and then we can go to the demo, and we can see what's the status of the current tipping. So I'll scroll up to this. So this is a brief overview of what the tech is behind this delegation, and behind this delegation style smart accounts. So, as you folks might know, we in the first version of tipping, we solved this initial cold start problem, where, let's say, Bob wants to enter the crypto world and Bob wants to start tipping. But in order to enter crypto, Bob needs crypto, which honestly doesn't make sense, but that's the harsh reality. But we had solved that problem through our tipping, or the what I'll call the first version of tipping, where Alice could directly tip Bob, and then Bob will have some funds in their wallet to tip Alice, Carol, Dave, anyone. Now we introduce another layer of abstraction, or another layer of flexibility, where Alice and Bob can do large amount of airdrops, or large amount of, I would say, consecutive tipping, if that makes sense, because end of the day, it's basically Alice tipping 1 million people, right? If you think about it. But instead of Alice paying for this, for those 1 million transactions, the people separately pay for their transactions. Some of the architecture which we had in the first version of tipping still remains the same. So we had this Discord authentication, or Telegram authentication. You folks have used the Discord slash command, which basically does the Discord authentication and creates these PKPs, which is kind of like a MPC wallet. And in order to explain MPC wallet briefly, it's basically through lit protocol. We have this EOA, where the private key of the EOA is actually never stored in any server as a whole. There's this network, decentralized network, storing shards of this private key, and only when your Discord authentication goes through, it can sign some messages or sign some transactions on the blockchain. Now, what we did with this implementation, apart from replacing the Metamask delegation or the gator accounts from our earlier implementation of Alchemy smart accounts, we also introduced something called wrapped keys. Now, what are wrapped keys? Wrapped keys is a new technology lit protocol has been working on, uh, which basically tells that these MPC wallets, or the PKPs, there's this fundamental issue with the PKPs, or actually, it's a security feature where these PKPs, since none of the servers have a single share of private key in them, right? So you can never actually export that account out of the lit ecosystem, and that's a security feature. But at the same time, if you want to create an open web standard, or let's say if you want to actually decentralize, or actually you want to create interoperability, you want something which you can export out. So the folks at lit, they reimagined how authentication can work with PKPs, and they came up with this idea of wrapped keys, where the PKPs actually encrypt a private key and then store it in their encrypted DynamoDB, and that encryption happens in a trusted executable execution environment, which is a secure enclave, or basically you can imagine it's a very secure server or a very secure environment. And since the PKP is controlling the encryption decryption of that private key, essentially what it means, the security aspect of it still remains the same. So no other person can do transactions on your behalf, uh, because they don't have your Discord authentication information. But at the same time, wrap key also allows the users to export the private key out of Collab.Land, so that they can import it in other platforms, and that is how we wanted to ensure self sovereignty. Now, coming to the delegator framework, there was two types of smart accounts we had in choice. One was uh, the simple delegator, and one was the hybrid delegator. We went with the hybrid delegator because it has passkey support, and that is something we want to add in the future. And this delegation manager, which the delegator framework has, it basically controls the redemption and the issue. Basically, it controls the redemption of the delegation. So delegation, again, just to repeat, delegation is more like this credible commitment, or this promise, which is basically signed off chain, and you cannot change the signature. Because if Alice signs a delegation to Bob, no one can change that. And since that signature is there in the delegation, it can be verified on chain that, okay, Alice has signed this. So Alice is promising to send Bob 100 tokens. And yeah, this was just a small overview of that. And now there's some additional tech which the delegation framework has, which is called caveat enforcers. Now, how what are caveat enforcers? I'll just explain briefly, just to also keep time for the demo. But let's say Alice signs a delegation to allow anyone to claim 10 LXP tokens. Now, what these caveat enforcers does is it allows you to set some boundaries. So the delegation framework without any caveats is by default like a total account takeover, because what you want is you want to add the restrictions as and when it's required, and we have certain other restrictions which we add in order to make it more secure. But we are developing something called the ERC20 royalty payment enforcer, which basically does royalty payments on behalf of Alice and then sends the remaining amount to Bob. Now, this royalty payment can be both the transaction fee reimbursement as well as the gas fee reimbursement, which we currently do, which all of you folks are already aware of. Now, initially in the first version of tipping, what we used to do is we used to deduct it in by batching user operations. But now all of these user operations are atomic in nature, and all of this actually settle on chain or revert if any of the sub transactions or sub executions, if I would call it, sub execution reverts. And that is where caveat enforcers come in. Now, I'll maybe show a small demo about how the raindrops works from a user perspective. And then I'll just give a sneak peek at how currently it's looking. So let's see, I'll go to this uh, Discord server and let's see. So if you just type the slash tip commands, you have your traditional balance tip 2. So all the previous tip commands are still the same, like tip balance for balance. Maybe let's try checking the balance once. And I'll just explain the other tip command meanwhile. Tip 2 is for sending one-to-one tip, and then tip help for all the commands, tip deposit for depositing, tip tokens to see all the tokens, and withdraw to your EOA or your personal wallet, withdraw all the tips. And then there's this new command called tip raindrops. So I think the balance has returned. So you can see I have around 297K collab on this, and I'm on the linear Sepolia chain. So let's say I want to tip someone. Let's say I want to tip, and this is something you all know. I want to tip 10 collab to this, not your average. And when I'll send the tip, this is a one-to-one on-chain tipping, which everyone is familiar with. And at the same time, while this is happening, let me show the raindrop commands and explain the parameters. So the raindrop commands, when you're creating a raindrop, which is basically an airdrop, you need to give the total amount you want to tip, let's say 1000 collab. Then you need to give the token which you want to tip, and it's the token symbol. So you can get the token symbol through the tip tokens command. And we know it's collab. We want to tip collab. And then the event duration. Now, this event duration, you can write it in the HMS format. So it could be 1H, 2M, 3H, or it could be, let's say, 10S or something, 310S. Yeah. And the max entries is how many people you want to actually tip. So let me put the max entries as 10. And that basically tells, you know, you want to tip 10 people 100 collab because the total amount is 1000. Now let me create this quickly. And this is the traditional tip. You can see I've sent the tip. And if you click the transaction explorer, this is what I was explaining, where the smart account sends royalties by batching user operations. And this is like our collector smart account, and you can see the tip transaction and the gas fees is sent, and this is the original tip. Now let me confirm this. So there's a confirmation step. I'll confirm this. It takes a bit of time to process, but yeah, there you go. A public message has been created. So this is like a public message where anyone in this gated channel can access and collect the raindrops. So I'll just switch accounts. Oh, I can't switch accounts, I think. Let's see. Uh, Chibi, can you switch accounts by any chance? When you're sharing like a screen in one account?
That's a great question. I actually don't think so. But I could try to claim it and show how that looks like.
Yeah, I'll quickly
Maybe.
stop sharing then. Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. So this is indicator. Okay, let me share my Discord. This is pretty cool, by the way. Thank you, Gita.
Yeah, I absolutely
Okay, let me
forgot the case
try.
where I have to change accounts.
Yeah. Yeah. Small details. Oh, the screen shares changed a bit for Discord. Let's see. Share this window. That should be my Discord. You may need to click the little screen share in the stage so that you can see it full screen. Yeah, please let me know if that's correct. I think that it should. Oh, that's messy. Go to the demo server. Okay, and we want
Yeah,
to
it's coming
show
through.
what it looks like. Nice. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna click collect. See how that looks. We get processing your claim request. Please wait. We wait. Yeah, I've seen different drain commands for off-chain tipping, but I think this makes sense for on-chain tipping with the delegation toolkit. Waiting
Yeah.
for my
And
confirmation.
the best part
Yay,
about
there we
this
go.
is it's in. Chibi, can you send the transaction link? I'll just.
Yeah. Double now. I'm not sure why. Let me send this to you, and I'll stop sharing the screen. Yeah, the gas stops for now. And let me send you Gita the transaction link. We can take a look at that. I'm putting it in the state if that works.
Yeah, sure.
Awesome.
So let's see this transaction link. So now you can see instead of there being, this is Alice's account or this is my main account, and this directly transfers the fund. And it's as if I am transferring to the not your average user. And it's very different from how the traditional tipping works because this is a redemption of a off-chain delegation on-chain. And the caveat enforcer, which we were talking about, I can show you that pretty fast. Once we deploy that, uh, and we get that in production, that is when you'll see transactions like this, where you, the user, so this EB sends the funds to the smart contract. Then the smart contract is uh, responsible for sending all the royalties. So you can see once the smart contract gets the 250 collab, which let's say Bob has redeemed and Alice has delegated, the smart contract first sends out all the royalties which is required as per the delegations Alice has signed, and then sends the remaining back to Bob. And Bob gets this remaining amount. And the best part about this is there's no way Bob can manipulate this transaction because everything is signed on chain and everything is promised by Alice that, when Alice signs the delegation, Alice mentions he needs to send this 55 collab to this address and 10 collab to that address, and only then he can redeem the delegation. And that is all enforced on chain. And you can see, like, if you go into this smart contract, you can see like the smart contract is that ERC20 royalty enforcer. So yeah, that's mostly how we are redefining what transactions are on the blockchain, from traditional push based transaction which Ethereum has been doing for a long time, to this new form of pull based transaction. So yeah, thank you folks. Over to you, Chibi.
Thank you so very much, Gita. This has been pretty cool. I see a lot of claps for you in the state chat. So clap. Yeah, it's pretty interesting because I'm used to a whole different tipping system kind of thing. So this is, it's like eye-opening that there's more possibilities and how we're doing a totally different something. So it's pretty cool to see. I'm a huge fan of tipping here. So thank you again for your presentation. Beautifully done. And I see that we are at the half-hour mark. So let's continue with today's agenda. Again, thank you so much, Kita. If anyone has any questions, by the way, please feel free to drop them in the chat. We'll be reading the chat and answering to those. So again, feel free to let us know if any questions or comments are interested in those. And moving on, it is time to talk about, well, actually to show you guys about our V0 workshop. And for this, I've got a tiny something prepared. Well, first of all, let me tell you a little bit about what V0 is and how we're using it at Collab.Land. So V0 by Versal is an AI-powered tool that simplifies UI creation for digital projects. And I'll show you how simplified that is, because it's very easy. But yeah, it features a chat-based interface where people can input prompts and upload files, and then V0 will respond to you with text, code, or blocks to support seamless development. So allow me to show you kind of how that works. Let me share my screen. All right. Share. There we go. I think that should be. Please let me know if you can see a blue background with the seal in Canva. Again, you may need to click when you're in the stage, to click the first screen share icon thing so that you can see it. Okay, I see the chat. Perfect. So for the next 10 to 15 minutes, what we're going to do is create a website from scratch just by using this image. So really, you can enter anything. I'll just start with the image. So I'm just gonna take a screenshot. This is how easy it is to get started. Also, if you don't have a screenshot, you can just describe what you want. So you can tell V0, hey, I would like you to help me create a website. If you don't know what you'd like to do, I don't know, it with a modern look and or in my case, I'm going to ask it to about a sales website, curious fact, and how to take care of them and how to put them in the world. Let's see. Please help me create a website based on the screenshot. I'm just gonna start with that. And again, And sometimes you don't even know what you want it to look like, but you can do it. Oh no, it's blue. I wanted. I would look cool for a header. I'm gonna here. You, and then you can either it, or if you don't like it, like if it doesn't have the files, then obviously you won't be able to use it. But what you can use is emojis, or sometimes generate very basic images for you. So right now, what did we get from the screenshot? We get an updates button. We got a Facebook, an Instagram, and Twitter icons in here that would take us to the social. And that's it for now. Pretty basic. So let's see what we can add to this. Well, for now, I would say I would like a header. Can you add a header with, let's say, an about section, fun facts about baby seals, really anything. It can be anything you'd like. And then I would like and how to adopt a seal. Also, I'm gonna tell it, well, something I've learned from V0, which is this far, I've been using it for a week or two max, maybe. And if you're like me, well, I'm gonna enter this. Like me, it's sometimes difficult to get started with things, especially if you don't have a coding background. Like it might feel unknown and difficult. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to do a lot of research to even know what to do because I have no idea about this. With you don't really need to. Like I find similar to ChatGPT, for example. If you use ChatGPT or if there's other options out there, it's very similar. Like you just tell it you want and will for you. I think that's cool. Like here, I give it only. Moving to another direction, I asked, please, can you create a header? And I want these, and then it just created all of this for me. Like it will help you out when it's started. I'm gonna ask, and you can just to give you ideas too. For now, I'm gonna ask it, can you add a carousel? Is that how you type carousel? I'm not sure, but it will understand. No worries. Can you add a carousel with baby seal images? I'm not sure if it's gonna get the images, but let's see. Oh, and something I wanted to mention is that something I've learned with V0 so far is that when you send a message, I like to keep it to only one command at a time. Because sometimes I wanted to do a lot of things at the same time. I would tell it, hey, can you add a carousel? And also, I won't type it because I'm not going to send it. But for example, and can you also change the color for the header? And can you change the color for the text? And can you do this and that and that? And sometimes it works, but sometimes it just breaks down. It like it. It likes clear instructions for a single task, maybe two if they're related. So a lot of instructions. Notice is that yes, sometimes you just break the website, especially, and this is something that James is saying and show. Yeah, something that I've noticed and James is that your code reach. Let's see, I've got 100-ish lines that are break. Be careful. So let's see. Oh. See how it started adding things by itself? Like it added a footer with icons, the coming soon. It kinda it kinda broke. Yeah. So you really need to try a lot, and sometimes if it doesn't do what you want it to do, what I do is I edit the message, try to make it more so we can sell it. A carousel with 3 that show baby still images. Please it below the about seal savers section. Let's try that. Also, something else that James says is delete the message instead of editing it, and it will kind of do the same. It will take you to the previous version of the website in case that it breaks. But let's try with this. The thing, and then you have the previous booking and sending messages, and it doesn't fail. I'll just delete the message and try again. It doesn't get it. And I've noticed every time, sometimes when you ask it to do something, well, I guess all of the times, like it will generate all code to add whatever you're asking it to. That's why, because every time it is the whole thing all over again. Let me see. Let's see how this one goes. Looks like it's gonna reach 200 lines now. Let's see. Okay, in the meantime, I'm gonna take a look at the chat. My Antwoord, you're already doing it. That's so cool. But really, it's so easy. I had never made that or similar, really. Just, yeah, here at Collab.Land. Try, let's see. It's still not quite there. But yeah, it's just very easy to get started. I'm gonna try and ask it. Show only 3 cards with 1 image in each card. Oh my gosh, I have to take a look at the time because you can really time giving it instructions, taking a look at everything, and seeing tiny things that you want to change, and you can time what you want to get. But I find it very fun because it's like with someone who the thing for you. AI is the best. Thumbs up now. Okay, it's Jenny again. if you take a screenshot of an actual website, if you already know, if I added my head myself and the buttons and all of that, and will create the thing more easily. Oh, okay, I see. Well, still not quite. Yeah, still not quite with the carousel. Maybe it's because I'm not giving it the images, but it's trying. It's trying. But okay, so this is really a how to get started and like a very first version of UI. And not only you can do websites, we've used this too for Discord commands, for example. When we were ideating the raindrops command, for example, Gita sent me a chat to V0 that would show the command itself and all of the fields. And you can add, I was able to edit using V0 the description. And if I wanted a field to be named differently, I would just change it in here. And then when all of that was done, I sent it back to Gita, and that's it. It's pretty easy. You don't need to what we usually or what we used to do of taking a screenshot and then sending it to Canva and editing and changing the text in here and then sending it back. This is very, very easy in here. And maybe we can do, because after this, what I've learned how to do and I prefer to do is to take the code from here and then we import it into Cursor, and then it has its own AI too, where you can do kind of a similar thing, but it is a lot faster and you can see your website in real time and do other changes, and it's a bit more complicated, but maybe we can do a workshop about that later on. Let's see. I'll use 3 more minutes in here. So the carousel isn't really working. I'm just gonna remove the carousel, please. Or I'll just delete. Yeah, because that's fine. Also, something that Jane recommends us to do. And let me see if I can add something easy. Let's see. Can you please? I know this is an interesting topic of conversation. When you talk with ChatGPT or AI, do you use please and thank you? I personally do, because you never know, right? And you need a second to do it. And what if they take over? Or when they take over? Another good side. It's just something to think about. So since we're in this workshop, just a recommendation for me, because why not, really? Let's see. Can you please add please add section place to support rescue okay, let's see what it comes up with. I'm so curious on what you're building there at the Antwerp. Really, so it's just start building a project or a website about anything really. Also, if you're new tips or anything that you know, also please share it with. I'm still learning. Again, I'm not an expert at all. We've been using the 2 weeks, maybe. I'm not sure. Oh my gosh! Oh, okay. we wait. Break. But yeah, I think it's cool again to get started. And yeah, it's very easy to talk with it and to see what recommendations it has for you. Like, I think this looks good. And for me, at least, it's much easier to edit something, to change things after I have it somewhere to buy versus starting from scratch. So this is just the best for me because I tell it, hey, I want this, and then I say I don't like this button in here. I prefer it. I don't know, also, or I don't know. It's just very easy to make those changes. But I think this is probably now for our very first website, and I think this is the carousel that I just didn't. So I'm gonna do that real quick, and I'm seeing the time, and I know that we need to talk about something else before we end the town hall. So just quick second, and I'm not reading the chat right now, but James, please, if you would like to add anything about how we're using V0 at Collab.Land, I need to show you guys the member portal. I think I should do that. But please, James, if you'd like to add anything about V0 and how we're using it at Collab.Land, please feel free to do so.
Yeah. Thank you, Chibi. I mean, I think you're doing a wonderful job demoing, and really, it's at Collabland empowering people here. So, Chibi is not a formal developer, didn't go to school or trained as an engineer, but is able to make these websites. And I've just been really impressed with the speed in which Chibi, you've been able to pick things up and learn. So whether it's people not having access to education or don't think they wanted or needed to learn this, and everyone has their own path in life, but then now it seems like everything is converging online. So I think this has been a really eye-opening experience where now you don't have to have formal training as a developer. You just have to use these no-code tools, which is what we at Abridge started out with in terms of providing tooling, and that's where Collab.Land has come from. So I really feel like this is coming full circle, and I think that this is just scratching the tip of the iceberg here, and I can't wait until Chibi has a few months under her belt. She'll be, lead engineer at Collab.Land. So I have no doubt about that. So I think that this is a really a kind of I would say a glimpse into what we're going to unleash at Collab.Land, not only internally for us to move our internal projects forward, but to try and package up this experience and this process so that anyone can extend Collab.Land. So you have communities and admins that have unique requests for features for their community, and we see a path so that we can empower anyone to be able to extend functionality and features for their community.
It really has been pretty cool and easy to start using. So totally yes. So anyone can do this. I'm looking at the time, and I want to give those last minutes for James to talk about an article. But first, real quick, I want to give us a member portal that's coming very soon. Change on how the wallet verification flow works. Again, just a sneak peek. There's a lot of things that we're going to add here, but quick look. Here's for communities. Your community. Then adding wallets, we're gonna have all of the wallets that we have available, your access eligibility. Again, just a really quick something about what's coming very soon. And also, as a heads up, because why not? Our current wallet verification website is going to change colors to match our current new colors. I'm not sure if you saw the announcement just yet, but take a look at it if you haven't. But okay, I'm gonna stop sharing screen because it's also POAP time. To that.
Yeah,
I'm
we
reading the
can defer
messages
my
because
section,
it's a bit
GB, if
distracting.
we're
Yeah.
oh, we can skip my part if you want to, and we can do this next time as well, because I think doing the POAP and then also showing the sneak peek of the member portal and the wallet connection page. What this means for everyone using Collab.Land is that you'll see a lot more faster, small, frequent iterations happening, and we're going to be able to be quote unquote closer to the ground here and get feature requests, and it really is going to streamline our process. I don't mind spending more time on that if we need.
Yeah, that sounds good. Alrighty. Yeah, we can always um have an AI meetup later on and keep talking about that, or we can leave it for the next town hall. Sounds good. Yeah, I miss AI meetups. They were pretty cool, and I feel like there would be a lot to talk about with what we're doing right now at Collabland. So yeah, just to mention that real quick. But let's get to the POAP. We're very close to the end of the town hall, and we're using the POAP mini app to claim. You will need to use the /command/ POAP claim in the chat, and the claim phrase is V0. And I haven't tried this, and I hope that it works because it's just a letter and a number. So I'm claiming mine right now. Please give it a try and let me know if it works. Again, it's V0. V lowercase. I don't think it matters if it's uppercase actually, but just in case, lowercase v and number 0. V0. Let's see how that goes. Perfect. Yeah, it worked for me too. Nice. As I was mentioning before, very briefly, we've got new colors and a whole new look for Collabland that's more tech focused. There's some more details in the announcement, but you will notice that the bot has a new icon, that has a new banner. You will notice the Telegram bot, there's been a lot of changes in there. So it's also to let everyone know that this is the new look and that it's not an impersonator. This is where all of our websites and social media. This is where we're heading to. So you'll start seeing more of these colors, kind of this aesthetic. So just to let you all know. When I see successful claims, I'm glad. But also, if anyone has any issues claiming, drop me a message and I can send you a link to claim the POAP later. Not a problem. And now, oh boy, I think that's all for our town hall today. But before we end the call, you know the tradition, we will be meeting in the Meetups channel to play some games for a bit, to celebrate the weekend and to hang out for a bit. So you're all invited. And I'm going to draw a link to the event. Oh, yeah, you can see the new colors in the stage chat right now. And Julie just shared them. So, yeah, we're aiming for a simpler, more techy look. And I hope that you see it reflected in our websites that we're working really hard on upgrading and to change to match this vibe more. So you'll notice that in those very soon. Oh, is that link working? Wait, I'm getting a new link, but this is in the Meetups channel and it's starting right now, right after Town Hall. So I hope to see you guys in there. Yeah, there we go. For the Town Hall after party. Should last about 30 minutes. All right. Well, thank you, James, so much, and Gita for joining today and for your comments and presentation. This has been a very interesting. So, thank you again, and thanks everyone for joining. I hope to see you guys in the Meetups channel to play some games. And have a wonderful weekend, everybody.
Yay. Thanks, GB. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday! I see the answer. The secret phrase is V0. Lowercase v and number 0. Otherwise, I can send you a code. No worries. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the Meetups channel.